Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this afternoon's Audit Committee meeting on December the 11th, 2023. We have two items on the agenda, but before I take them, are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest? There not appearing to be any. We will welcome Ms. Tasker and move on to item 4.1, the fourth quarter audit status report. Welcome, Karina.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So today I'm going to be sharing with you the results of two audits, including the annual physical inventory count and the status update of an audit that was done last year on the market alcohol inventory. Also in progress right now, I'm working on a lean review of external billable work orders, and I continue to provide support for an ongoing review of training documentation. First up, we have the physical inventory count of stores. Okay. Oh, there we go. So just as a reminder, the count that's done by stores every year involves counting all of the inventory to ensure that what we have on hand physically matches what we have recorded in SAP. So the purpose of my count is then to review a sample of the entire inventory to verify and provide assurance that the staff counts are correct. So this involves standard sheet-to-floor counts of the top 10 total values and top 10 unit values, as well as 20 random floor-to-sheet counts. In total, my sample covered 25% of the inventory value. So the results of the audit this year were very positive, and there were only 3 variances found through my count, which resulted in a $2,000 write-up. This represents 8% of the sample and 0.05% of the total inventory, which is very small. In addition to the count sample, I also review all of the inventory adjustments for the year to make sure that the amounts are consistent from year to year and that there are no large unexplained adjustments. As usual, I split the total amount of write-down for the year of $143,000 into stock that is controllable by the store's staff and stock that is outside in the yard that they do not have control over. Similar to previous years, the controllable stock had a write-up of about $85,000. And this was attributable to many part numbers, so no specific part number, and they're typically due to errors in receiving or units of measure. The uncontrollable stock saw a full year write-down of $228,000, which is also consistent with other years. It consists mainly of salt and aggregate write-downs, which result because staff do not inform stores when they take the inventory from the yard, and because of the difficulty in precisely measuring how much was taken. Overall, the total write-down is similar to previous years. One additional note on the uncontrollable inventory write-down for this year. While the majority is expected, as I just mentioned, there was also $75,000 write-down included that was related to the city being incorrectly invoiced for salt that was purchased for the region. So staff are working with the region to recover the funds, which will then offset this write-off. So the total write-downs for the year are only 1.1% of the total purchases, which is well below the industry benchmark for shrinkage of 2.5%. All of the adjustments were small dollars and expected. Staff have now implemented ongoing cycle counts, which will help to proactively identify and fix variances without needing to write off amounts. So overall, the inventory process is in control. Are there any questions on this audit?
There don't appear to be. Thank you.
So the second audit is the status update related to the alcohol inventory at the market. So as with all status updates, the objective is to hold staff accountable to address audit findings and identify any areas without significant progress. The original objective of this audit was to make sure that there are controls in place to protect alcohol from theft by staff or customers at the market.
Yeah. It's all good. Sorry.
And I'm extremely excited to report that all 7 recommendations have been implemented. And I think this is the first time in the 19 years that I've been doing this that all 100% have been completed by the time I did my status audit. So kudos to the market staff and management for being proactive. The implementation of the recommendations means better physical control over alcohol stored on the premises, as well as processes to reconcile the incoming alcohol purchases, track sales on event days, and conduct periodic inventory checks. Are there any questions on this status update?
I'm trying to come up with a one-liner, but a little slow. No questions, so thank you. But that's certainly good news. Well, great work, I guess, by the market team and you in double checking it.
All right. So that's it for that report. So the next one.
Okay, so we'll now move on to item number 5.1, which is the 2024 internal audit work plan.
All right, so I'm going to be asking you to approve my 2024 internal audit work plan today. And the goal of my work, as you know, is to help protect the city's assets and interests. I do that by making sure that operations are as effective and efficient as possible, that controls are adequate to protect assets from loss, and that there is compliance with our policies, procedures, and legislation. As per the Institute of Internal Auditor Standards, my work falls into two broad categories: assurance and consulting. The assurance work involves my objective assessment of evidence and are chosen independently by me. This could include things like controls and compliance audits, confidential investigations, and comprehensive reviews. The consulting services are more advisory in nature and often involve facilitation services as requested by business units. The goal of these engagements is to help the client improve the design and delivery of city services. So for 2024, I have a mix of both assurance and consulting services planned, subject to your approval. On the assurance side, I have 5 audits that are part of my rotating list of controls and compliance audits, including hiring, transparency, and nepotism, the annual physical inventory, which you just heard about, deposits, fire, life, safety, and a new review related to taxable benefit exemption for employer-paid parking. There are also 5 updates, status updates for audits that I conducted this year, including parking and mileage expenses, technology field assets, underground locate services, petty cash and floats, and accounting and payroll processes. I will also conduct any confidential investigations that are brought to my attention as required. On the consulting side, I continue to provide ongoing support to the INS training documentation project, as well as I intend to start 3 new engagements. The first is a gap analysis of construction contractor management, looking for best practices for our internal project managers. The second is an org structure and roles and responsibilities review in the bylaw enforcement division to help support ongoing employee engagement. And the third is an org structure and service level review of corporate security services. Are there any questions prior to approving?
There don't appear to be any. This is like going to be the shortest audit meeting in the history of the city of Kitchener.
They just keep getting faster.
Or you're just doing such a great job. Any questions? No? Okay, I'll leave it at that for today. Nope, that's it. Yep.
Motion.
Oh, we need the motion to moved by Councillor Michaud, seconded by Councillor Chapman, to accept the work plan as proposed. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor O'Dooney, seconded by Councillor Deneau. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried.